Good evening. I'm going to call the school committee meeting from July 13th to order. Agenda-wise today, we're going to supersede the public comment for a brief update from the town manager on an issue that's ongoing right now. Then we'll jump to public comment, go through the consent agenda, work through reports, do the new business that we have, and then we will adjourn to executive session. But before we start, and before even I hand it over to Bob, Mr. Milashevsky, thank you and welcome to your first meeting. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
And we'll also note that we've made a couple of other minor changes to alleviate some of the staff requirements. And so we're going to bring different admin teams when they need to be here, as opposed to bringing them for every meeting necessarily. And so we'll work away from that. So with that said, Mr. Lasher, you have something you want to share?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Just so the community is aware, 625 Main Street, which is otherwise known as the General Washington apartment building, is being evacuated. The public is perfectly safe, but the building is not. The building had a flood in the basement that took out their power, and so it's just an unsafe condition for the residents to stay. I'd ask the community to just be cautious driving in the northbound lanes. At least one of them will be closed. The Red Cross is said to be showing up soon. There'll be housing for at least tonight needed for 39 apartments worth of people. We don't know how many that is. I'd ask the community to keep an eye on the police Facebook page. You were very kind when we had the fire near Town Hall on Sanborn. A number of people offered a room for a period of time. So I just ask you to keep an eye on the Facebook page, because those residents are going to need a place to stay if the Red Cross can't help them. But it is perfectly safe. It's just a very big inconvenience for the residents. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Lasher. And with that said, we will move on to public comment. Is there any public comment? Please state your name and address, sir.
Yep. My name's Chris Haley, 71 Tennyson Road. I moved here to Reading about 13 years ago because I wanted to start a family in a safe community, as well as the one that had amazing schools and educators. I did not know then, but I know now we also have amazing town staff and employees that truly care about our community, and that was a welcome bonus. I now have an older daughter who is a fourth grader at Birch Meadow, and a 3-year-old that will be following in her sister's footsteps in the future. While I've not met our new principal at Birch Meadow, I take great comfort in knowing that our new superintendent was involved in the process. I met with Dr. Milashevsky last week, and in the best interest of time, I will say that he listened. I personally feel that Dr. Milashevsky has our children's education and safety as an utmost priority, just like our school committee's ethics policy clearly states that their primary responsibility is to the education and safety of our children. Everything else is secondary. It is my hope that 8 years from now, I'm shaking Dr. Milashevsky's hand at my older daughter's graduation right outside this room. As fathers, we would both have succeeded. It's a small goal in the grand scheme of things, but I know he will do his very best to see that day happen, and then focus seeing on my younger daughter graduate shortly thereafter. Small daily goals, all working towards the greater outcome for all of our children. Thank you all for your time, and welcome to Reading, Dr. Milashevsky. I look forward to that next handshake. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Haley. Any other? Okay, seeing none, we'll move forward to the consent agenda. We have a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
And a second. Seconded by Mr. Robinson. Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Oh,
Aye. It's 6-0. Any nays? No? All yeas. Okay. Moving on from there to reports, and Mr. Milashevsky, we'll start with you and work our way from there.
Great, thank you. Well, good evening. I would like to start by thanking the entire Reading community. Over the past few weeks, I've just received a really warm welcome from people across the community, and it's very clear to me that it's a great place to be. So I'm thrilled to be here. I've loved meeting all of those who I've met, and I look forward to meeting those who I haven't met yet and collaborating with you to make Reading Public Schools the best it can possibly be. So thank you, and I really appreciate the warm welcome. I'd like to just, in terms of a report, just on behalf of our entire team, would just like to thank everyone involved with summer programming. As you know, getting summer programming off the ground is no light lift, especially after the year that we've had. So today I was over at Birch Meadow and at Coolidge and able to see firsthand just all the efforts of so many people to get programming up and running. And students were learning, students were having fun. It was a vibrant, dynamic energy in the buildings. So I'd just like to give sincere thank you and gratitude to all of those who have gone above and beyond after the most challenging year to start, our summer off the right way. So thank you on behalf of our entire team.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Milashevsky. Got to keep myself correct there. Moving down the line, Carla?
Thanks, Tom. So I have 3 reports. We had the bylaw committee meeting was scheduled last week. We were meeting in conjunction with the rules committee, and we didn't have a quorum for the rules committee, so that meeting was actually canceled until sometime in August. And what was on the agenda was electronic voting at town meeting. On Monday night, we had Board of Library Trustees Committee. They had a packed agenda. We talked about meeting room policies. We talked about the virtual meeting room, which is going to be made available for people to rent out. They talked about library space planning. They're putting together a committee to look at that. They were also talking about the social justice position, which they're looking to have a person start hopefully in September. I guess at the select board meeting on the 20th, they're going to be voting in classifications, job classifications. So they're hoping to post after that meeting. We had a riveting discussion on trust funds, which actually was really interesting. And then same night on Monday night, we had a permanent building committee meeting, which we had a lot of talk about policies, and we walked the library. So they're walking each building in the district, so that was kind of interesting. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robinson? No report. No report. Mr. Brandt?
No report.
Ms. Gaffin?
No report.
Ms. McLaughlin?
No report.
And I have no report. Okay, so we'll move forward to the new business, and that would be the collective bargaining agreement with the Reading Teachers Association. Before I give an update and start the discussion, can I have a motion, please?
Move to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the Reading Teachers Association and the Reading School Committee from September 1st, 2021 to August 31st, 2024.
We have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Carla. Okay, so just a brief update about this contract, so everybody is aware of what we're approving here. As Mr. Brand has already pointed out, the contract will be a 3-year contract commencing September 1st of this year and concluding August 31st of 2024. We've agreed with the Teachers Association for cost of living increases of 2.25% in year 1, 2.5% in year 2, and 2.5% in year 3. We've also agreed to daily elementary planning time on the full days of school for the elementary teachers, but this will necessitate the district hires approximately 2 more specialist teachers at the elementary level. We've agreed to additional special educator planning time and limiting the daily class load for specialist teachers. We've agreed to dual licensure competency stipends for those with licensure in both special education and general education. We've agreed to competency stipend for those certified in Norton, Gillingham, and Wilson. We've agreed to updated terms with respect to parent and adoption leave. We've agreed on updating compensation for and updated expectations of the department heads at the high school. And we'll be commencing a joint labor management committee meeting on or around April 1st of 2022 to research and assess the feasibility of adding M15 and M45 lanes to the salary schedule. So that's the brief update of the contract changes. Any discussion, questions? Okay. I'm going to ask for a raise of hands instead of an aye because I can't count ayes. So those in favor of the contract, please raise your hand. And Mr. LeLasher is here by law to vote as well, so it's a 7-0 vote. And those opposed is 0. Okay. And with that said, we'll move on to the final item on the agenda. And do I have a motion, please?
Move to enter into executive session under Massachusetts General Law 30A, Section 21A1, to discuss a complaint brought against a public individual not to return to open session.
Do I have a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Robinson. And since this is an executive session, we have to do a roll call. So I will start at the end. Ms. Nazaro?
Aye.
Mr. Robinson? Aye. Mr. Brandt?
Aye.
Ms. Gaffin?
Aye.
Ms. McLaughlin?
Aye.
And Mr. Wise? Aye. And we will not return, so thank you very much.